Get home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez.
From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing ass says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. Lady B, we're going to have someone calling back in just a moment. We were going to make it seamless, and Ken Mejia-Beal was going to make it seamless, and then I went to go put him on the air, and I hung up on him. So I'm sorry, Ken. Can I start the show over again? I'm going to leave, and let me just do this. And
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Ken, I'm so sorry. I was trying to push the button to get you on the air. Well, while we have this moment, Ken Mejia-Beal will be a guest co-hosting with me, and I want to thank our sponsors for making these conversations possible. Of course, we have, as a standalone podcast right now, the interview we did with Peter and Warren from Source Solar. Really helpful conversation and what it means to put solar panels either on your industrial, your retail, your home. Give them a call. Well, first visit source.solar to learn about the work that they do. And I really am so grateful because we've been thinking about getting solar panels for a long time. Now I understand the process better, and you can too. So give them a call and maybe set up an appointment to see if it's time for you to get solar panels. There's over 100,000 happy customers throughout the Chicagoland area. We also want to thank Kirk Bangstead, who has been leading the fight in Wisconsin. He was, of course, leading the charge in a deep red area during the pandemic, pushing back against the fact that folks didn't want to mask up or get vaccinated, and the spread of COVID was catastrophic in some areas. So that's kind of how he started with Minocqua Brewing Company and also supporting President Joe Biden. He's been very active politically and spreading the message of resistance. And he has Nerve Center at the Madison Tap Room, where we will be broadcasting on March 25th. Go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com and sign up for their newsletter, because you'll catch some great pieces by some of my fellow columnists like Ben Cominos. A lot of really great insight into what we need to do in this resistance. Also want to thank our friends at Are You Really Winning? That's from the way back in. You can go to areyourreallywinning.com to find out about supports for gamblers. March is Gambling Addiction Awareness Month, and we want to thank the Way Back In for partnering with us to have those conversations. We will talk with Anita again next week about how your family can benefit from their services. If you or someone you love is struggling with a gambling addiction, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit areyourreallywinning.com. And of course, our friends at Kids Above All, visit kidsaboveall.org and find out how you can support their mission to help children live happy, healthy, safe lives. So that's all of our gratitude out there. Ken, call back, please. I just called back. That was a technical difficulty. Called Patty. Not pushing the right buttons. Apologize. I'm sorry. There's just a lot going on. Partly, I am hydrating everybody. As I've asked before, are you hydrating? I found my tin mugs. I thought my tin mugs were missing. Turns out I hung them on some hooks in my locker. I have added a little bit of a packet of electrolytes from a company called Element. It's LMNT, and this is one of my favorite flavors. It's orange and salty. Salty like me. So let's get Ken on the line. Okay, I feel like that was a button I hit last time and hung up on you, and I apologize for that, Ken. I know we were going to try to make this seamless, and I'm like, let me screw that up for everybody. Hi, Ken Mejia-Beal. Thank you so much for joining me and guest co-hosting today. I am completely scattered.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and I look forward to having you in studio shortly. I've already screwed up with that seamlessness effort that you were trying to share a very professional quality. I don't operate that way, my friend.
Clear. Well, it's funny because I was like, did somebody just hang up on me? What is happening?
It was me. It was me. I apologize. I apologize for that completely. How are you doing today? What's up? No, you know what? Are you hydrating, my friend? Are you hydrating?
I'm very hydrated, and I'm fully hydrated. And the traffic today is. I'm very happy to be so hydrated. Let's just put it that way.
What are your preferred hydration methods in addition to, so some people just hate drinking water. I have a brother-in-law who's like, I can get water from coffee and Diet Coke. And I'm like, yeah, that's not how that works.
It's not how that works.
That's not how that works.
I am a big fan of drinking. Well, I drink 8 glasses of just water a day, period.
Okay.
But first thing in the morning, I drink 2 glasses of hot water with lemon.
Okay.
Yeah. And then right before bed, I usually have my cup of cucumber water.
Okay. I love cucumber water. Why is that?
So
I love that.
I love water. So here's the thing. I don't like the taste of water either, but it's really good for your skin and your collagen. So that's why I drink
Nice.
it. I'm just trying to stay young as long as possible.
Do you take that powdered collagen? Because I take that. I can't remember the name of it, but it just really quickly dissolves in any beverage. I also try to take that every day.
I don't, but I do eat salmon on a regular basis, so I think I'm covered.
That's very, and it's got good protein. I've been trying to do the protein thing. They say that women of my age, meaning not open for baby making anymore. I don't think that's really what they call it, but the factory has shuttered, is all I'm saying, and now the party begins.
Good for you.
Yes, I feel like the factory shuttered so I could have a 24-hour, 7 days a week party here. Anyway, but I need to take care of it. So protein's supposed to be. It's all these fad diets, though. I will talk more about that when you're in, because I think that's something I need to be more mindful of, is what I'm eating, when I'm eating. Do you do like the what do you call that, the timed eating, like well,
no, I don't. I will be very transparent with you. I started, so in 2015 I quit smoking. I gained a lot of weight, and ever since 2015, after I gained all that weight, I got on the Mediterranean diet, which is a way of life. And I've never gotten off of it. Oh. And I've just stuck with it. It's a lifestyle choice. So lots of beans, lots of fish, lots of fruit, lots of, you can have one dessert a day, or a glass of wine. I go for the dessert.
I'm sorry, did you just say or? Okay, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, you can't have it all.
Okay, go ahead.
You're going to have the Merlot or you're going to have the ice cream, but you cannot have both under any circumstances.
So how about whiskey? I'm kidding. Go ahead. Whiskey and ice cream.
I think whiskey is not a part of wine. I think whiskey is a part of life.
I'm saying.
Yeah, so whiskey is in it regardless. But no, I do the Mediterranean diet. I've been doing it for over 10 years now. And it's never changing.
Okay. Well, and I know that there's the Mediterranean diet and another one, Blue. I don't know if it's Blue Plant, like Blue Zone. Oh, Blue Zone, I think is the name of it. It's similar, except there's actually, it's almost all plant based. So it's like just fish occasionally. But I'm with you. I need to have some of that stuff. I had, you know what I had the other day that I absolutely was so surprised by? I haven't had for years, was mahi mahi. That was freaking delicious. I had it like from a steakhouse. I'm like, this is great. Why have I not had this in a while?
Oh, mahi-mahi tacos are the best thing ever.
So good. I love how this is going to work. I love how he's going to transition. I know. I love how he's going to. This is going to be now. If you're watching on the Facebook Live, you can actually watch Ken Mejia-Beal come in while he's on the phone. You can come out and when you've made it, by the way, and jump right on the microphone. We're going to make this transition.
I'm coming.
I love it. By the way, I locked myself out, Lady B. When I let you into the back room, here's Ken. Ken Mejia-Beal joins us live in studio. He's happened right on the microphone. I locked myself out before, and that was also part of the problem of hanging up on you, was I was a little flustered because I was like, am I going to miss the beginning? Are we both going to miss the beginning of my own show?
That would be the worst thing ever.
I'm a little underdone because there's a little bit of chaos in my house right now.
Yours? Mine too. Look at us.
I know. We're just like,
what is happening here?
Well, chaos feels like the status quo at this point, doesn't it?
If you're not in chaos, you ain't living. Like, what is happening in your life?
I can't. So I went out to grab my makeup and some stuff from the car, and I didn't have my keys, right, for my car, but I had the badge to get back in the building. This is going to be a fascinating story. Wait for it. I mean, I can't believe I'm sharing. So exciting. You know what my husband would say? You know what? Not everything is a story. So at any rate,
your husband clearly is not a stand-up comic.
So I lock myself. I don't have my keys to the car, but I have my badge. I come back in to get my car keys, go out to my car, don't have the badge to get back in. So it was. I'm not saying I have ADHD, but I did see a video of a woman trying to do her hair, and she smacked her head on the bathroom counter. I'm like, that's me.
I saw that video.
Yes.
It's hilarious and it's horrible. You shouldn't laugh about it.
Well, she shared it, but ultimately, some of these, she's a little alone in her bathroom. There's nobody else that could have, unless she like sent it to a friend and was like, look what I did. No,
it happens to the best of us.
I really, there was one night, and my husband and I have to sleep in separate rooms because I'm caring for Declan at night, and Steve's a really light sleeper, which I realized Declan can only drink through a syringe right now because he can't drink with a cup. He only uses sippy cups.
Okay.
So he doesn't know he can't swallow. He doesn't know how to swallow from a cup, but he can't use the sippy cup because of the suction on his mouth from the surgery.
Got it.
So Steve has to syringe, like baby bird feed him, and it's so sweet, and so do I. But poor Steve, like I'm sleeping right next to Declan. Basically, I'm the barrier so Declan doesn't fall out of bed.
Right.
Because he has these leg braces on. And I wake up and Steve's like at the foot of the bed, like taking care of Declan. I'm like, what? I feel so bad.
Where was I? What happened?
I'm like, do you need anything? He's like, no, you can go back to sleep. I'm like, okay. I am the heaviest sleeper. I mean, I don't know where it came from, but yes.
Same. So my partner, very light sleeper. I'm very, like, there was one night, like the fire alarms were going off and he was like, did you hear that?
Yes.
And I'm like, shut up, I'm asleep. Like, what are you going? Like, leave me alone. But here's the thing. My dog can put her little toe pad on the floor and I'm up.
Well,
and it's like she needs me. What's happening?
Yes.
That's the only thing that gets me up.
You know what that's like now, because like I don't know if you ever went through this, Lady B, after the babies were born, but like if I heard any, like that's the only thing that like my whole body like for years
immediately.
Like I remember getting these like weird like nerve sensations in my body, like and you have that. You're your baby's mommy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when she steps down, no.
Mommy.
I'm
mommy. Okay.
And I hear it. And it's very frustrating for my partner because it's like you don't hear the fire alarm. We have a neighbor who I hope is not listening. He has all kinds of parties at weird hours of the night. Wink, wink. And my partner can hear through the wall everything. And
is that you talking about a party or a one-on-one party or possibly more?
I'm talking multiple people. A party.
A party. But like,
we'll talk during the commercial break. But I hear nothing. And I wake up the next morning and he's like, last night they went on until 3 a.m. I was like, really? That must suck for you. I heard nothing.
Well, now, if you were awake when it started, when the noise starts, can you fall asleep with that going on? Or
absolutely, unless I get an invite. I'm not in my business.
You're like knocking on the wall. Hey, what's going on? Hey, I seem to miss the invitation.
Yes, where's my invite?
That's amazing. No, if there's noise before I fall asleep, I can't fall asleep. I can't do it. Like Steve snoring. I can't. I'm like, I can't.
There is a picture, and I just want to preface it by saying I was totally sober. There is a picture that Pep, one of the owners of Sidetrack, has of me knocked out asleep at Sidetrack on like Black Wednesday. Because I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And I had my ginger ale and my friends were there and I'm just like, I can fall asleep anywhere.
Yeah, oh, I can definitely do that.
Like, I don't care. I will sleep. I wish I wasn't like this. I wish.
Not only can I fall asleep anywhere, I have. I remember I had a job back in the 90s. I was a consultant. I used to do research for a financial firm, and I had my own. But I was an independent contractor, so I could make my own hours. So I wasn't like clocking in or clocking out. But I didn't. I was really tired, and well, actually, this one I had the cubicle first. I would do the George Costanza, and I had a pillow and a blanket. It was the best sleep of my life because it was so dark under there. It was like I remember one time, my husband was also in the same department. We were research analysts, and Steve came like around. He was talking to somebody. I'm like, oh God, are they gonna find out that I'm sleeping?
They are.
They didn't see me. I was like looking through my office chair, like the wheels are like trying to pull it closer to cover me.
Sleep is the best thing ever made.
Oh my God, it's my favorite thing.
Mine too.
I mean, I get
sleep and food.
But I don't go to bed at a good hour. I like being awake, but then when I'm in bed, I do you ever count the how many hours it's going to be before you can be back in bed? That's the extent of my obsession.
This is embarrassing to admit. I'm a napper, so I take naps every day between 3 to 4. And then any spare naps I can get in, I get in. I love sleeping. given the opportunity, I will sleep. So I don't count down. Why count down when you just go to bed?
I know. No, I'm just saying, when I'm in bed. So it'll be like, so I have to get up every morning about 6:45, right? So and that's when it starts. He's like, you don't get up at 6:45. I'm like, when my process starts.
Yes.
But I start thinking, okay, how many hours till we try to do bedtime around 9:30? Like I start counting, like how many hours am I going to get? Weekends.
My big thing is I set an alarm to go off at 4 a.m. so I can go to the gym because I like being at the gym early because I don't like people looking at me. However, sometimes it doesn't work, and this is one of the biggest arguments in my house because the alarm goes off, I will sleep through it, and then he will turn it off, and then we'll get into it. And my thing is always, the night before, my soul had a plan.
Yes,
and then this morning, my soul did not match up to the time. This is not my fault.
I have done the same thing. I have given myself, there was a period of time where I set my alarm for 6 a.m., right? So I figured I'd get up before Steve and Declan and maybe do some writing or, meditating or whatever.
And then
my soul, you're meditating just fine while you're sleeping.
Like your soul the next day is like, we're good.
We'll do dictation to a transcription app. We'll do that said later.
We'll meditate in the car.
I mean, I've done that. There are specific ones just for driving.
Really?
Yeah, they're specific. I did it one day. I was going somewhere. My heart was racing. I'm like, I pulled over. I'm like, I need to find an app for meditating while you're driving. I could have
used that today.
Probably shouldn't have lit the candles. Let's take a break here. When we come back in studio. We're in studio with Ken Mejia-Beal. Remind folks the position you have.
Youth Outlook Treasurer. You can find us at youth-outlook.org. A great organization providing resource to LGBTQ youth and their parents. Please check us out, youth-outlook.org.
Excellent. More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. Our phone line is open, and the wonderful voice you'll hear is Lady B's today. Man, people get mad when it's not Lady B. So
they do.
Get to hear yeah, they do. So, not that they don't love Paul or Devin or everybody else.
She's so welcoming.
I mean, not that they're not.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying,
they are.
Because they're invested. That's all. Let's take a break here. More when we come back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. I know I already said that, but I felt like it needed to be repeated.
The latest politics.
We both took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Global news.
We do know one thing. This tragedy would never have happened but for Russia's needless invasion of Ukraine.
And business updates.
These are banks that people rely on to get cash, and we need to make sure that they are protected.
And factual conversations. WCPT 820. Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Chicago's Progressive Talk. WCPT 820, where facts matter.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now at 773-763-9278. Driving it home with Patti Vasquez now on WCPT 820.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue driving it home. Joining me in studio is guest co-host Ken Mejia-Beal, and we are taking your phone calls. Lady B, is it your birthday? I'm sorry. Happy birthday, Lady B. I'm so behind and terrible on these things. I'd have brought you some cake. Happy birthday. No, you don't deserve my singing.
It'll ruin your birthday.
I was going to say that was wrong. Happy birthday. No, that's not. I have to find a better celebration.
I'll give you a little shimmy during the commercial break. A little shimmy.
Lady B's applauding, by the way. She wants that. All right, that's why on the break? Why don't we all get to celebrate?
I just gave a shimmy now.
A little there we go. Yes, I don't know why I'm shimmying, but there it is.
It's what we do. We give a shimmy.
Happy birthday, Lady B! Congratulations. I hope we get to do. And I don't know why we still lost the ability.
Happy 21st.
Yeah, right. Happy 21st. I don't know if I can find. Did we ever fix this where I could talk to the producer's booth? I don't know that we did, but let's see. Let me see if I can try Adobe. I don't think I have it. I don't have it in the board. This is fun programming, by the way, Ken. I think a lot of people like it when I P program A. No, maybe we try it. P program. Phone, go to T. But what was that noise I just made? I don't think anyone needs to hear. Oh, here we go. Let's see if this works. Let me try, Lady B. Do I have to push anything else? Let me see. I can't hear you. Now I have to see if it's you. No. You know what? It automatically switches off of T and goes to S mic. It like drops it right away. Yeah, that it won't work.
It's a conspiracy.
All right. How did you love this representative yesterday who went after the chair of the committee who was going to misgender? I mean, did you see this? I don't know if I have the audio for that, but
I hope you
that
do.
Was wild.
I saw a bit of it on YouTube. It is, as I keep saying, the attack on the trans community is so. It is done to remove dignity. It is done to dehumanize, and the more of us that fall into it, this whole, over the last 2 weeks has been so disappointing to hear, like, Rahm Emanuel make jokes. And
okay, I thank you.
Gavin Newsom. It's just all like, guys, this isn't what we do.
Right. No.
It's not what we do. It shouldn't be who we are, but...
But it's not just that, but it's saying that, the only way we can win is by being as hateful as they are.
And that's incorrect.
That's crazy.
Yes.
It is making sure that we communicate that we are for working families, making sure that people have access to health care, to a living wage, to respect and dignity in retirement.
Correct.
Right? These are the things. But Gavin Newsom and Rahm Emanuel,
and the go-to, especially a Republican talking point is, trans people are such a small segment of the population. Right. Then why do you guys keep attacking them if they're so small? Right. Why do you keep doing it? So
this is not from the audio yesterday, but it did reflect back to McCarthyism.
Have you no sense of decency, sir?
I mean, that's back from McCarthyism, but that's what he said to the chair was, do you have no decency?
And the answer
that's
to that
exactly
was no.
No decency whatsoever.
No decency.
And
and I know that Rahm is, I don't know, let me backtrack. I believe, strong belief that he is probably going to attempt to run for president.
Yep. No interest.
Not a good way to start. By alienating people. No. It's not how you start a campaign.
No, it's so opportunistic. But you know what's crazy? I'm sorry, why am I yelling at you?
And pointing. I love it. I feel like I'm on Housewives. Go for it.
He's like, I don't want to hear another word about bathrooms. He introduced an ordinance during his administration in Chicago to make bathrooms gender neutral.
Yes, he did.
And then to tell us about education when you close 50 schools on the South and West Sides, disenfranchising students of color and destabilizing communities, making kids unsafe.
Well, and this is the problem. And it seems like every time I come here, I get in trouble. Eventually, somebody's going to stop inviting me. But the biggest problem is not you, but this is where that whole vote blue, no matter who BS comes into play. Because not everyone who's blue is down for the cause. Not everybody who's a Democrat is pro black rights, pro Latino rights, pro trans rights,
human rights.
Like that's kind of a thing. And I just did an event in Downers Grove, and I'm surprised I haven't gotten emails about it because I literally got on stage and said, "Listen, don't just vote for somebody because of a letter after their name.
Yeah.
Look into their character.
I mean,
it means something.
I sent off a nasty text to an elected last night.
Oh,
I was
me
exhausted.
too. We'll talk during commercial
I was exhausted
break.
and tired, and they literally, I mean, like, how can you have the cojones to send me an invite to your fundraiser when you fundamentally supported somebody who weaponized the trauma of rape and homicide survivors? I make it make sense, Alderman.
Because we're Democrats and we all have to come together.
Oh my God! No.
Regardless of how horrible we treated you, we gotta come together.
When I got the text, exactly. When I got the text, I just sent back sideways eyes, like seriously, kind of a thing. Like, what are we doing here? And then they wrote back K, and I'm like, oh, you want to know why? Well, it's going to take a couple days until I'm worked up and exhausted.
No, my answer for that, because there was an event out in the burbs a couple of weeks ago, and I got a few of, Ken, why weren't you there? And I said, I would be more than happy to tell you why I wasn't there, not in writing, because I don't want you screenshotting this and sending it everywhere, because that's how y'all roll.
Here's the thing: if this alderman screenshots what I have, like, go ahead.
Listen, you can, but I don't want my family to know I use language like that.
Oh yeah, I don't think I use language. But this dude literally said he supported Lindsay LaPointe because I didn't invite him to my radio show at WGN. Like, literally said that to my face. Yeah. Latinos. And it's a Latino. Hey, Jim, before we go to the break, what's on your mind, my friend?
Hey, Jim.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
They won't forgive, Trump doesn't want to forgive medical debt for people in difficult circumstances. He said, no way you're going to get your medical debt forgiven. Of course, the war on people in difficult situations is just amazing. But, Patty, it's almost St. Patrick's Day, and I had a great story in Ireland. When I was a young man, it was a crowded bar. I would yell out, who's the homeliest looking guy in the county? Now, I said that everywhere, New York, Boston, Europe, all over the place. Well, I'm in Dublin with my sweetheart, my brother, and my sister. They come up about 1:30 in the morning, crowded bar. I go, who's the homeliest looking guy in the county? And I sat down, and the guy sitting next to me, he looked at me, he goes, I don't know, he said, but you're a close second. It took Dublin. It took somebody in Dublin to straighten me out. You know what I mean? And that's 20-something years. That's about 20 years ago.
I love it.
But anyway, what are we going to do? I mean, this is it's so pathetically nuts that everybody looks like it's like the Tower of Babel. Like, nobody can articulate how insane this really is, and that's the thing that really kills you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It just kills you that, they'll say something preposterous, and then they'll put Trump on. Tonight, what was it? That was some ridiculous thing about, like he's the alpha and the omega on every subject. Well, the ceasefire, what do you think, Trump? And he comes on, he says the most ridiculous thing with no thought behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And they walk away and go, okay, good, that's what he said. So in other words, we got to sit here day after day after day and wait for the madman to tell us what it's all about.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I know, Jim. Take care of yourself. All right, stay hydrated, okay?
Later, yeah, sure I will. Sure. Prolong the agony, huh? Prolong the agony.
That's right,
Is that the deal?
That's right.
Okay.
All right. Take care.
Take care,
Jim. Thank you so much. We are in studio with Ken Mejia-Beal, Secretary for Youth Outlook.
Treasurer.
So heard it both ways.
Okay.
Treasurer.
Same thing.
It's more fun to be the treasurer than the secretary. You got to take all these notes and you send out all the, be responsible for all that stuff.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
I think the money thing is probably better.
It's not, but I love that you think so.
Youth-Outlook.org.
Youth-Outlook.org. Sorry, I'm laughing because it's like, I screw it up every single time. You miss a line in the minute, you're good. You miss a line out of the budget, you're not.
That could be stressful. That could be a little stressful.
Yes, but youth-outlook.org.
Excellent. And coming up in a moment, we're going to talk to Villa Park trustee Kevin Patrick, who is running for Villa Park Village President.
Yay.
More in a moment on WCPT. WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. We're so glad you're here.
Think Theory Radio.
Manipulating the masses is more utilizing propaganda, gaining a wide quadrant of the public, where crowd manipulation is more focused, like the divisionary tactics of these political parties. They utilize certain talking points and phrases to target specific groups that they want to maneuver and empower and get them to do their bidding.
Think Theory Radio with Damian Perdue. Saturdays at 6 p.m. on WCPT 820. Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
Union Strong Chicago continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine, and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine, and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
In your communities in Chicago.
On WCPT 820.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. Someday I probably will leave the mics on. Oddly, that one time that I did, it was not my fault. Joining me in studio is the treasurer for Youth Outlook. Go to youth-outlook.org.
That's right.
And find out about more. You had no idea. I totally forgot the whole connection for you. At any rate, as I was telling the story, sometimes the off-air conversation is the one that we should probably broadcast if I want to get off. If I want to just burn all the bridges, but... Yeah, and we'll talk about that later. Not that specifically, but
burning
sort of
bridges
tangentially. Yes,
is what we do.
No. It's my reaction that burns them. But it is. Here's the thing. I wouldn't hold you accountable if you hadn't done something crappy. At any rate, that's what I'm saying.
Fair.
At any rate, let's move on because, this is kind of related to running for office. I ran for office in 2020, and so I know the challenges. I know how nasty it can get. That's kind of what we're alluding to. So I love talking to candidates because they have taken up the challenge of putting themselves out there for serving their communities. And joining us on the line right now is Kevin Patrick, who is a Villa Park trustee, now running for Villa Park Village President. Hey, Kevin, you're on with me and Ken Mejia-Beal. How's the race coming, my friend?
Patty and Ken, thank you first for having me. I really appreciate being on the show. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I'm glad that you guys get to put out all this information out there and have someone like myself on your show. So thank you very much.
And thank you for running.
No, thanks. This is what I do. I'm a 30-year resident of Villa Park. Not a lot of people know this, but I actually met my wife at Jefferson Middle School in Villa Park. And so I graduated from Willowbrook High School. After high school, I joined the military. When I got back from deployment, my wife and I, we got married. We bought a house in Villa Park, and now my kids are back in the school district. My oldest is a freshman at Willowbrook now, so it's just kind of like we're completing a cycle here, but I'm really invested in the community, and I've been here for a long time, and I'm just trying to step up and get our village on the right track.
What has been sort of the driving force behind your drive to run for your community, to serve your community? Was it something that you've thought about for a long time? Was your family engaged in political activity?
It's funny. I've never seen myself as a politician or getting into politics before. 6 years ago when I ran for trustee my first time, there were some things that were happening in Villa Park that I just thought we could do better. We had some challenges. We had some transparency issues. It seemed like a lot of our residents in town really didn't have a voice or someone to step up for them and speak for them. And, I had the opportunity and the ability to step up and run for trustee. So I've been doing that for the last 6 years, and now I'm running for village president.
What are some of the things you want to share with people who maybe don't pay as close attention to board of trustee or village president roles? What are some of the things that you vote on? What do you want to bring to the community? What do you have planned when you're successful in this race?
Sure. No, absolutely. Well, first of all, the local level is really important, especially nowadays with everything going on. It's really good to focus at the local level here. But some of the things that I would like to see happen in Villa Park is we need to have a little bit more of a boost in economic development. We're this small little hometown in between like Elmhurst and Lombard. And, our two communities look a lot different. And we are an untapped, we just in Villa Park have so much untapped potential. And we really need to develop economically. And I think one of the best ways to develop economically is to invest in our community, invest in our open green spaces, invest in our parks, create areas where people want to go and congregate as a community. And, when people go to these places, businesses naturally will want to come to them as well. So that's one of my ways that I hope to start growing economic development in our town.
What has been sort of the difference in running? I mean, are you still explaining to folks the role of the village president? Because, I live in the city of Chicago, and we obviously have a massive, population. We have it's amazing to me that like communities like Villa Park would have a village president. It's the dynamics of that are sort of hard for me to. I've lived here my entire life. We've had 50 aldermen.
Yeah.
How many? Well, first of all, let's start there. How many members of the board of trustees?
So there are 7 board members total, 6 village trustees, and 1 village president. There's also an elected clerk for the position there. Now, we are a strong managerial form of government here in Villa Parks. So we basically we get elected and we oversee the progress of the village. We are more or less there for the long-term planning, making sure policies are created, things like that. The village president role is more or less like the CEO of the village. Now, even though he's one person, that person does not make all the decisions. We have to collectively agree on things as a board. But that's kind of how it runs. The 6 trustees and 1 president. And that's really how our government works here in Villa Park.
See, again, I'm fascinated by like those layers. Now, do you have, because we talked to our friends from Addison Township, and they have there's like layers of municipalities within on top of that.
Yes.
So how does that function for Villa Park as well with other sort of branches of the government? Obviously, you have your state, but because I think that we have a lot of folks who aren't aware of even the election coming up. Are you finding that people are like, oh, we have an election coming up? Exactly. This is what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Well, no, for sure. Well, we fall in York Township, and York Township has a really tight race right now as well. I believe from what I heard is that the township has been held by the Republicans since 1850 or something around there.
That is correct.
So the Dems are really making a strong push right now, and it looks like they're doing a really good job. They've got a great slate up there. So we're just kind of seeing how that goes. But with Villa Park, we're in York Township and in DuPage County here. So one of the things that I like to try to do is have really good relationships with all of those levels of government, whether that be at the township, the county, even the state, or the federal level. I think it's really important that the local level has the opportunity to tell other elected officials that represent them what's going on in their community.
That's great. And how does that function? We were talking to our friends again from Addison Township, and they were, talking about how these sort of people want these town meetings now more than ever, don't they? Yeah. And so, do you do in person? Do you do a sort of a hybrid? Sometimes people can be online and in person.
So, it's funny because Villa Park was kind of old school for a while. When I got on the board about 6 years ago, they were just starting to maybe put some of the meetings on YouTube. One of the things that I tried to do was try to create a little bit more transparency in the village. So one of the things that I pushed for was making sure that all of our meetings, even commission meetings, were recorded, whether that be video or audio, and uploaded to YouTube. So that way we have a little bit better level of transparency. But at the end of the day, I think it's really important that people get involved and are able to hear our conversations and see our meetings, because that makes them a stakeholder in this as well. And, the more people that we have on board involved in local government and knowing what's going on, the easier it is for me to make decisions that are right for the residents of Villa Park. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with that.
Yeah, and now, so as I mentioned, as you go door knocking or connecting with people and having events, what are some of the things that they're concerned about? What questions do they have for you, or what are some of the priorities?
So in local government, a lot of the times you're going to hear people complaining about streets and sidewalks and the maintenance with that, which are very valid concerns. Also, when there are stormwater problems with flooding and such. But here in Villa Park, one of the biggest topics that's going on right now is liquor licensing, and in particular, liquor licensing that would allow someone to apply for a gaming license at the state. Right now, what I'm hearing is that there are a lot of residents in town that are just not having gaming in town right now. We've had a lot of different businesses open up, and they have the flashy lights, the big signs, and a lot of people are just saying, hey, we really don't want Villa Park to go in the direction of like a little Vegas strip here. So that's one of the things that I've been trying to pay close attention to as well. We do have some challenges in Villa Park. Some of the things that I would like to change is how our liquor commission actually operates and how people evaluate the permits or the applications that are coming in for our liquor licensing and stuff like that. But that's one of the biggest issues going on right now in Villa Park.
And when is early voting starting?
Early voting starts on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. Good lucky day. So people could start going out to the polls, early voting locations on the 17th. I believe Villa Park Library is one of our early poll locations out there. But the election is April 1st. And, again, it's just really important that people get out there and vote. A lot of times these local consolidated elections get overlooked, and the turnout for voters can be fairly low. So it is important just to get out there and vote, because your vote does make a difference, and it really does affect the local level.
And how do folks get involved with your race specifically? Where do they go to volunteer, to donate, to support the work that you're doing?
Well, you can check out my website. It's really easy. It's kp4vp.com.
I love it. Best website ever, Kevin. kp4vp.com.
And that's the number 4. I have a strong presence on social media, too, with Instagram and Facebook. Facebook and Instagram, you can find me at Kevin Patrick for Villa Park. But if you go to kp4vp.com, you'll find out more about me there. You can do your research there. Or there's opportunities on the website, too, to find out how to get a hold of me directly. And I am very open. I love talking with my residents out here. I love talking with anybody. Just to have the opportunity to give back. And that's kind of been my whole life. I was young, getting into public service when I joined the military. And you just really get into wanting to give back and help people where you can. So kp4vp.com.
And you have an event this Saturday, right? You have a meet and greet coming up. Tell us a little bit about that before you go.
Yeah, Saturday the 15th at Mystic Vines in Villa Park. It's a little theater dance studio there. What I'm hosting is a candidate meet and greet. So all of the candidates, trustees, will be there, and myself, and also one of the write-in candidates for our village clerk position will be there as well. So it's an opportunity to get to meet them face-to-face, maybe grab a sign or some literature. And we're Dominic's Pizza in Villa Park is also supplying the food, so come out for some good food. But yeah, that's the event we're holding. Right now, I'm actually calling you from the Laborers Local 68 in Lombard, where I'm having a fundraiser right now.
Oh. Get back to them.
Beautiful.
Go shake some hands.
No, this is great.
Awesome. Well, we'd love to check in with you before before the election. If you want to give us a call during early voting, check in with Jerry, and we'll get that set up. We'll touch base with you.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you both again for having me on. I really appreciate it.
And best luck, Kevin.
Absolutely. Thank you for running. Take care.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Let's take a break here, and we'll continue our conversation. We're in studio with guest co-host Ken Mejia-Beal. You've also heard him regularly guest hosting with fill-in hosting, all the things, with Elliot Serrano, the K&E show. I've got a lot of compliments. He's also the treasurer of Youth Outlet. Go to youth-outlet.org and support their mission in helping people in our communities. More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal.
Hey, Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
To Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
In your communities, in Chicago.
On WCPT 820.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. I'm your host, Patti Vasquez, joined in studio by guest co-host Ken Mejia-Beal. Do you have any fun events coming up that people should know about?
Yes, I do, actually.
Excellent.
Next Thursday, March 20th, please join me for another fun night of trivia. Asking Questions Productions will be at Skeleton Key Brewery in Woodridge, Illinois. So follow me at Ken Mejia-Beal on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of that good stuff. But it's March 20th, 7 p.m., Skeleton Key Brewery, Woodridge.
Excellent.
90s edition. We're doing 90s trivia.
Oh, do you have any sample questions for me? Off the top of your, I'm not going to make you do it off the top of your head.
No. Actually, no.
When were you?
No.
I was going to ask you how old you were, but I don't do that. But I will say.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
I don't mind. I'm 39.
Okay. All right. So you remember the 90s were a big part of your youth.
I remember them. Yes.
I remember them. It was nice.
Yes, it was a great time. The music was great. So it's something I do at Skeleton Key once a month. We have a fun trivia night. It's always a theme. So this month's theme is 90s. Next month's theme is almost 420. So it's going to be a fun-filled kind of marijuana theme night.
Oh, interesting.
This next one, March 20th, at Skeleton Key Brewery, will be the 90s edition.
Excellent. And by the way, 420 is on Easter, or Easter is on 420.
Yeah, don't you take my 420 and ram it in with Easter.
I'm just saying, when the Easter candy goes half off that day, or that night at midnight, I'm just saying those shelves are going to be empty.
Hello, white chocolate Kit Kats. Mine. Mine.
Everybody out of the way. Everybody out of the way.
In my onesie. In an Uber with red eyes. Just angry.
I do kind of like that image. I'm going to need photos. I am definitely.
I'll send them to you.
Please. I love it. Let's get to Dave in Hoffman Estates, who's on hold. Hey, Dave, what's on your mind, my friend?
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Patty. Hey, Ken.
How's it going?
Well.
Are you staying hydrated? There you go. Yesterday he called and he was sipping water. He was getting the sound effect of drinking. Yeah, that was great.
It.
There it is. I don't know what that was, but that sounds like it might have been it.
It sounds good.
Nectar of the gods. And when you were talking about your partner, have you thought of suggesting for the partner to get noise-canceling earplugs?
No, one of us needs to wake up for loud noise, Dave. It's just not going to be me.
Okay. That's when you were just kind of mentioning, I just thought.
But thanks, Dave.
Yeah, that was the little BB roll. Anyway, did you all see that where Putin, with the ceasefire thing, that he had conditions?
Yeah.
Yes.
That Ukraine must recognize Russia's annexation of Crimea and the 4 southeastern regions. That's exactly what I said a week ago. I said that's what they did to Finland. They took the eastern portion. And the guys, no, that, they're going to win. They're going to win. They keep saying they're going to win. And like I said, how they going to? They've been taking all these casualties. And back in November in the AP, they had a story about that they had a lot of desertions even from the front. These guys are so weary, so tired, and that. So they'll probably, rearm a little bit, but, a lot of these guys, they're messed up,
Yeah.
And, they had one caller didn't like it. I ain't trying to besmirch these Ukrainians, but truth is truth. They're just a fifth smaller than Russia, and they've been taking hits, too. I mean, my God. So they, if they felt so strongly, they could have went. Of course, that's if they had any military experience. There's a lot of these, what would you call them, keyboard commandos and stuff that, it's okay if it's somebody else going as long as it ain't them. We can all run around with yellow ribbon stickers and stuff on the back of the cars, but, there's a price.
Yeah.
To be paid. But it's exactly what I said. That's how that Russia plays. They want that land. And they've been fighting it, tooth and nail for that. And I think I read where they're starting to get back some of the stuff that they had lost out earlier this year. So
yeah,
that's. I mean, they're fighting for our freedom, but it's. I don't know, but hate to leave it on a downer like that, but.
Well, it's not a downer. It's
just speaking your mind.
I mean, it's reality.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, listen, let me clear off so others can get by. All right.
That's all right. You're our last call for the hour. I like how he's like, who's next? I have to remind folks, because I'm terrible at self-promotion, I will be tonight at Tata's Kitchen and Social.
Yes, you will.
I will be. That's why I brought my makeup with me, because we were out walking with Declan, and I didn't have a chance to do my face. So I had to do it during the news in a few minutes. Not much. It's just mostly lipstick.
I got you. Don't worry.
All right, thank you. That's fair. Right, I have a guest co-host. That's
You're
why.
good.
5700 West Irving Park Road. The show is going to start around 7:30, between 7:30 and 8, because I have to get there. I'm hosting the show. It's Tequila and Shamrocks in honor of performing St. Patrick's Day weekend before, at a Mexican restaurant, and I'm Irish and Mexican, so it worked out that way. So
this is for you.
This is just for me. So we have Joe Kilgallen, we have Jeannie Dugan, and Jaime De Leon are on the show. So I'm excited to do that show. So Tata's has a great location. Las Locas has a show there next Thursday. Adam Burke has the week after that. So every Thursday there's a comedy show at Tata's Kitchen and Social at 5700 West Irving Park Road. And I know someone texted yesterday that they would see me there. They would see me there tonight. So I look forward to that. And I forgot to mention that on the air. So thank you for that. Appreciate
you have to push those things.
I know. And Ken Mejia-Beal will be at Skeleton Key next Thursday,
March 20th.
March 20th, which is in Woodridge, and it's a 90s themed trivia night.
Yes, you're going to have to take the drive one of these nights.
One of these nights.
Maybe next month.
Well, maybe we figure out a way to broadcast. Maybe I can broadcast remotely sometime.
We would love to have you there.
I don't know how that works. I'm terrible at that. I say these things and then I'm like, how do I make that happen?
We'll figure it out.
I can't put those things out there.
Maybe
I'll get a fill-in host.
No, we'll bring the whole crew to Skeleton Key.
There we go.
And the team name will be WCPT for life. And that's how we're going to do this.
I like it. Let's take a break here. Continue the conversation when we come back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. We're very happy that you're here. Thank you.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing ass says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We want to say hello to our friends listening on KTNF AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. And, of course, we're broadcasting here in Chicago on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. If the signal starts to get a little fuzzy soon as the sun goes down, don't forget you can always download the TuneIn app or listen to us online at heartlandsignal.com. You can also watch us on the Facebook live stream and the YouTube live stream, because there you can see me and my guest co-host, Ken Mejia-Beal, who joins me in the studio.
Yay!
He is the treasurer for Youth Outlook. You can go to youth-outlook.org.
Yes.
And so tell folks about the mission that they're supporting when they join you.
Our mission is to, when you invest in Youth Outlook, what you're doing is you're investing some dignity, some self-confidence, some self-esteem into young members of the LGBTQ community and their parents. And that's what we do. We believe that everyone in our community, the greater community, the world, deserve dignity and deserve to be able to walk into a room and feel like they belong. And that's what we do. We're all about, a lot of folks talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Mm-hmm. But the main letter missing from that is the B, belonging. And we are all about the belonging aspect of it. You can have diversity, equity, and inclusion, and folks don't feel like they belong. What difference does it make?
That's interesting because
it makes no difference.
But I think for people who don't get what that feels like, it's sort of this intangible sensation.
It is.
And it can be, but also an economic thing because I went to Northwestern for grad school and I was surrounded by very wealthy people, and I was like, oh, I don't belong. I mean,
Correct.
like, and it's hard to explain that. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal.
It's a huge deal.
But yeah, it went against my, like, the core of who I, and people treated me like I was a pet. They were like, you lived in a 1-bedroom apartment? Your dad was a cab driver? What was that like? It was real. I mean, like, and I don't ask rich people, what is it? I mean, I remember I interviewed J.B. Pritzker when he was running for governor, and he goes, what are you going to ask me? And I go, I'm going to ask you why you're rich. What, I mean, like, and you wouldn't say that to somebody who's not wealthy. No. But I mean, running for office, like, people want to know, like, his predecessor, who was a hedge fund investor. Yes. Right? Who sank this state into a complete, chaotic situation. So I wanted to know what his thing was, and I was fascinated by it.
I've always been fascinated. I will say this. The governor and I have, in my opinion, a really good relationship. Like, I had surgery a few years ago, and he called to lecture me. Like, I see you out in public, hobbling around.
I'm sorry, the governor called you and
to lecture me. It was the worst day ever. I've gone to an event that my doctor told me not to go to. Mm-hmm. So by the time the governor got there, I was pale as a ghost. I won't get into too much detail, but I had some intestinal surgery. So I had, like, tubes coming out of my person, and I'm on a cane, and I'm just like, hello, Governor, it's so good to see you. And he goes, you look like crap. And where'd that voice come from?
And why are you Katharine Hepburn all of a sudden at this event?
I was hanging on for dear life. But what I will say is he is someone that is in on it. And there are so many wealthy people that are not in on it. Mm-hmm. He gets it. Yeah. And I always appreciate someone who they get, oh no, we're not in the same boat.
Yes.
Like, we're in the same storm. We ain't on the same boat.
Right.
And I like that he gets that.
And he also has we were talking earlier about Rahm Emanuel and Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Essentially throwing human rights under the bus in pursuit of power.
Yeah.
And, being opportunistic about this moment in history. Mm-hmm. And Governor Pritzker has a lived experience of having a family member, of understanding what that is. And so it informs him, too, and it shows.
He is one of the most genuine people I've ever met in my entire life, and I've met a lot of disingenuous people. Mm-hmm. And when you meet someone who's genuine and has that much money, it is so jarring because it's like, it's ingrained in me to hate you. But I love you, big guy. Get over here. Like, let me knock some doors for you. Yeah. Like, I'm okay with it.
That's nice.
He's awesome. He's a great governor.
Yeah.
But as a human being, oh my God, he's wonderful.
He is. When I was in the press box, so I went down to Springfield during the impasse and was ringing the alarm bell early on with Governor Rauner. Yeah. And then when Governor Pritzker took over, I went down there. I went down there for the budget, so that would have been his first session. And my favorite picture, one of my favorite pictures that I've ever had, is him coming over and making. You can see me laughing. Like, I'm in the press box.
Yeah.
And I'm stepping out. And he came over specifically just to talk to me, right? Which was not necessary. He just wrapped up a big deal, considering how many years of chaos we had.
Yes.
And it was just one of my favorite photos that he came over. And he always sees me, like, and it's funny because I feel like I catch him off guard because he had to support an incumbent. And like, even friends of his were like, it's just an automatic. It's a rubber stamp when, they send that check out. But it's smarted, it's a little, but I don't, I don't think, at any rate.
I always say I never get upset or hold grudges or anything like that for people who back whoever you want. That's what I love about this political system. Mm-hmm. But in your backing of other people, you don't have to trash any. And I feel like there are folks that don't get that.
Right.
You can back someone and talk all about their pros and what they've done. As soon as you pivot to, and the other person is, right, and you start, you've lost me.
Well,
and you've kind of lost the person you're supposed, because now I'm like,
And the thing was, because it was a fairly big story, what Lindsay LaPointe had done in her mailings, which was paint me and the other candidate as discussing extremists, and to use language like Patti Vasquez can't be trusted with the safety of women and girls in the cases of rape and incest. And as a rape survivor, as a survivor of childhood sexual violence, I mean, I was just like, and because, can't be trusted. And when you talk about,
it sounds negative, and it sounds shady, and it
was awful.
And it hurts.
It was awful. And she was spreading rumors about my name, and she can deny it all she wants. That
what do you mean?
Oh, so this was the first part of it was when I submitted, and I had worked with Senator Martwick, and he was then representative.
Right.
He had encouraged me to pursue the appointment, and the first thing I asked him was, "What do I do about my name?" Because legally, my name is Patricia D. Bonin. That's the name on my driver's license.
Okay.
It's a name on my birth certificate, and I've never taken any other name. Patti Vasquez is the name I chose, my mother's maiden name, because the summer that I started to run for office the summer that I started doing stand-up comedy was the same summer that my brother's murderer was being executed. A very public, John Wayne Gacy.
Understood.
So I didn't want that to be our names were in the paper again.
I get it.
And people were reaching out, reporters were reaching out. So I thought, it's not the first thing I want anyone to think of when I do comedy, right? Mm-hmm. So it's been the name that I've been known with publicly for over 30 years. And so Martwick knew about it because Robert Martwick's dad actually made John Wayne Gacy a precinct captain. And the only reason he knew about me was because he showed off that he carried that business card in his wallet, and not knowing who I was, showed it off to me at his birthday. Yeah, I got some layers, my friend. Ken's like, okay, I see what happened on that text you sent the other night. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
so
it's what I love about this is you can always hear one side of something and think, oh, that person's crazy, and then you talk to the crazy person, you're like, oh, you're not crazy at all. I would be livid. I get it. I get it.
But I pushed that. I pushed those emotions of him showing off this card. But okay, I work with this person. I'm friends with this person. We're gonna address it, and we're gonna move on.
Right.
But when I decided to run, I go, look, how do I make this work? And he started working with me about, and at any rate, it was a whole lot of energy being put behind talking to all the electeds, talking to President Cullerton, talking to other senators, and he, we were thinking possibly change my name, have it, expanded to put Patti Vasquez. And ultimately, I just decided we would just go with the most complicated, which was on the ballot, it said Patricia D. quotation marks Patti Vasquez Bonin, and deal with it as we went on. However, I was out at an event in the neighborhood, and this guy was outside, a good friend of mine, and he goes, hey, I have a question. Not good friend, now he is. But we just started to know each other, and they were conflicted over Lindsay and me because they liked me, but she was the incumbent, and she's so nice. That's always my favorite thing, but she's so nice. They said, why are you using your husband's name on the ballot? And I said, what? And I said, I'm not using my husband's name. They were like, well, where does Bonin come from? And I said, yeah. Okay. So they had a text from someone from her campaign saying Patti is trying to appeal to white voters by using her husband's name on the ballot. Yep.
Oh.
That was happening. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I started getting, there was one of my my field director was at a door, and this woman started yelling at him about how I wasn't a feminist because I was using my husband's name on the ballot opportunistically. Oh, there were you know how that happens when those lies start getting out there. Now you have people who are believing them and run, I got called.
And they run with it.
Yeah, when I was at the 16th district, with early voting, this woman came up to me yelling how I didn't support women's rights. How dare I be against abortion? That was the least of it. But
I will tell you, when I was running, there was a rumor that got out that I was one of the first openly LGBTQ folks to run in that county. And there was a rumor that I was not really a member of the LGBTQ community.
Oh, my God.
That I had a wife named Michelle who had an apartment in Chicago that I was paying for. And I would go knock doors, and there were a few people that would go, I heard you're not really gay. And it was like, well,
oh my God.
And for me, it was hilarious because, well, I am, but if I am married, Michelle, where are you? And where's half of this money? Because if I can afford, if I can afford an apartment in Chicago, like downtown Chicago, which is where this apartment was, Michelle, where are you?
Right.
I can switch. Like, I'm open.
Now, was that from your same party, or was that the Republican?
It was the same party.
But that was
in 2020.
That's so crazy.
The worst stuff always comes from within.
Yes.
It's always the worst.
Well, that was the thing. Like, people in my community are like, well, you ran for office, and you kind of like you're asking for that, right? Well, first of all, then these people are not true. They're not fit to lead.
Correct.
And so and it was so wild because people just didn't know about my brother, and I didn't want to talk about, like, I didn't want to make that. But now I found myself in a position to defend my name. Like, why, but all I have is the truth, which is why I had changed to Vasquez. And then I was talking to a friend in the neighborhood, Jaime, who owns a business down the street. And I go, can you believe what they're doing with my name?
And he said, yep.
No, he goes, yeah, I saw that. You saw that? So it was Vasquez that I used Vasquez to opportunistically go after progressives. And now it was on.
You can't win.
I was just like, what?
You cannot win.
So that was why. And I had been working on a book about my family, which was originally called The Half Sister, because I only know about Mike from his absence than I do about memories of him. I was only about 4 years old. So I had been working on this book, but I also was very protective of my family's privacy.
Absolutely.
And I never knew how to how to share the story and how do I write this. And so, but I started getting anxiety attacks because you go to these endorsement sessions. Now it's all out there. It's all up for debate and questioning if these are the rumors that they're spreading, and if SEIU is with her and CTU is with her. And I know things get nasty. Can I be in a public place and be asked this question and respond in a measured way? So the only thing we could think of was to make the choice. But the thing was, the choice to come forward with my story was taken from me by Robert Marwick and Lindsay LaPointe. And that's why I say it's addressable. Yes.
And that's where the problem comes in.
Exactly.
And that's, I've always said the issue isn't spreading gossip or rumors.
Yes.
The issue is taking something that is traumatic to someone or something that's very private to someone, making it your own story that they are now accountable for.
Yes.
And I don't think people realize how upsetting that is, because no one, just whoever you are, if you're listening, take something very traumatic and private to you. And now imagine you're in a public setting and now have to talk about it by no fault of your own. You're going to be very defensive. Let's start there. You're going to be very angry, and it feels like being naked.
Yes.
And it's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
So I get it.
That's true. And that was the problem with the mailers, was seeing my face. You guys, and the thing was, and they also made my face darker, right? Because of the last, I was just like, oh, come on now. And then, but to see the words rape. Yep. And being a rape survivor and writing, I would write notes on my walk piece to be like, I'm a survivor. If you have any questions, but to put that on a mailer as though you somehow have the territory of keeping women and girls safe from sexual violence, and domestic violence in Joe Dupulshin's case, it was crazy.
I have it's not the same, but I had a similar issue when I was running. There was a mailer that went out, and I too am a sexual assault survivor, and the mailer was something that Ken Mejia-Beal condones rape. It was in big red letters. And then it was some backstory about how someone who worked for Speaker Madigan back in the early 2000s. And my thing was, I was in high school. Why is my name and my face that is darkened to the darkest degree of humanity on something? I was 15 when this happened. I have no idea. I had to Google it.
Yeah.
So why is my name attached to this?
And they somehow make these, and they'll justify the dots. Do you know what mine was for rape? The rape and incest thing and abortion was my former coworker at WGN Radio, Steve Cochran, had contributed $500 to my campaign. That was the whole, and I guess he supports other candidates. So it's like
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then you're connected to it, and it's like but that's not what I believe. And where are you getting that from?
Which is why I continue to make sure that people, in whatever way I can, know that they are connected to weaponizing the trauma of rape and homicide survivors and domestic violence survivors.
And it's not okay.
It's not okay. And the chapters that I'm working on are going to be ugly.
Well, last time I was here on your show when you were not here, I mentioned that I am working on a book and I'm really excited about it. But one of the things that I do in my spare time is I do mentor and educate anyone who asks for it, but it's in particular black and brown folks about running for office because it's different. Your name becomes a thing. People feel entitled to know more about your personal life than they do if you're not black and brown. There's just a different layer of, like, where my opponent had to answer where they went to college. I answered the same thing. That should have been the end of the conversation, but no. What were my grades like? What was my major? What was my minor? It's like, you're not asking anybody else all these questions. Why are you asking me all these questions? It's like, and then we research you and we couldn't find, but yeah, because I hide my stuff because people are nosy and they weaponize your life against you. I know the game. I've been in politics long enough to know you got to lock everything down. But it was the juxtaposition of trying to be open and transparent, but also I don't care who you are, you're entitled to some level of privacy. And so I do mentor a lot of black and brown candidates. So my book is going to uplift. It's going to piss off a lot of people. But my goal here is to show, listen, if you are black or if you are brown, if you are LGBTQ, these are going to be the 5 people you run into running for office. Yeah. And and they're all people that I know. And at level 1, there's always, Karen with the 20-year-old haircut and the pearls, who will always remind you that your life is embarrassing and shameful and should not be discussed publicly. But that's what my book is about, because I want more people running for office at the end of the day. And I want more people to buck the Democratic machine and run for office for the people. I want that.
That's why I ran.
That's why I ran. Period.
That's why I ran. I don't think that, people who are connected should decide how our communities are run. Just because you know somebody who's a committeeman.
100%.
I mean, 30% of our electeds in Springfield are appointed.
I had a friend who was thinking of running for office, and they said, I talked to this person, and they said they want to get me at a lunch with this other person who will tell me if I can run or not. And I said, let's back that up. If you want to run, that person can either say they'll support you or not, but you're going to run regardless. Right. You're not going to let someone that's so disattached from your community, that lives 30 miles outside of your community, tell you what you're going to do for your community. Yeah. Like, that's not how the game... But people who don't know think, I thought if they said I shouldn't, then I can't. No, if they say you shouldn't, you say, well, thank you for the free lunch, because they better be paying for it if they're inviting you. And then you run anyway.
Yes!
You run anyway.
Let me know if you want to have a here's from my friend Patty. More in a moment.
Yeah, that's right.
Just a little side note. Like, here's a footnote to the rest of the book. Patty's got some thoughts on that too. I'll tell you off the air, mate.
Is there a book tour going to happen in our future?
I don't know. Chicago Girl. What's the name of your book? You're gonna tell me.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll tell you during the commercial break.
More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway, or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
In your communities, in Chicago.
On WCPT 820.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. I'm your host, Patti Vasquez, live in studio with guest co-host Ken Mejia-Beal. He is the treasurer for Youth Outlook. Go to youth-outlook.org and support their work.
Thank you.
We also, he has a trivia night coming up next Thursday.
March 20th, 90s night at Skeleton Key Brewery in Woodridge. Please come out. It's going to be so much fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can make it someday. We have a listener who wants to join the show because they are running for office in Itasca. Hi, Marla. How are you doing tonight? You're on with me and Ken.
Maria.
Hello? Oh, Maria? Is it Maria? I'm sorry, Maria. I need my glasses. Sorry, everybody. Hi, Maria. How are you doing?
I'm fine. My first comment is, Ken, Titus and I want to know why we weren't invited to you and Michelle's wedding.
Hi Maria, how are you? This is my friend Maria. She is running in Addison Township right now.
Oh, this is Maria Vesey.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I'm so confused.
No, I'm not.
Yesterday's guest. I'm so confused.
She's the only one that can make a joke like that and get away with it.
Do you know, I was Googling her boyfriend today. I mean, that sounds dirty. I was looking because her boyfriend played hockey. So I was looking for stuff about Titus Dare.
Titus played hockey, Maria?
Yes, he's right here, yeah.
Hi, Titus.
Well,
he is actually
that's why you weren't invited to me and Michelle's wedding, because I didn't know Titus played hockey, so there you go.
He's actually a really great youth hockey coach. He has 4 national champions, 2 as a player and 2 as a coach.
Didn't know this.
He's put a lot of passion into youth hockey and getting kids to the best level and making kids fly straight and fly right. So that's always been his big passion. But you were talking about all the names you guys got called and all the things that they called you when you ran for state rep. I got called a mob boss.
Oh, I have it. Can I just say, when Maria was called that, I texted her. Remember that text exchange where I was like, Maria, what are you doing to people? What has happened?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I was too ghetto.
Yes.
To everything. Yeah. The names I got called were unbelievable. So everybody kept telling me I would get a T-shirt that says I'm a mob boss on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I started dressing a little bit more mob bossy.
I love it.
After that, because I was going to own all of that. Yes, it was horrible.
At some point, you lean into it.
You do. You lean into the names. You're like, go ahead. Whatever. Is that the best you've got? You do. You lean into it. You lean into the nonsense. It gets really old and really boring. And it's stupid baby stuff. And I was running against the insurrectionist.
Literally.
Literally
an insurrectionist.
Literally an insurrectionist. And we have the photo of her, and the story kept changing with her. And the names your opponent called you, Ken, please.
I know.
The names you got called.
I was called everything except the child of the Lord.
Oh.
Yes, and we all know you are one of Jesus's chosen ones.
So are you. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, but the names were just idiotic and ridiculous. And then I just heard you guys segue into why people don't, report sexual assault.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we didn't
segue into it. We were just talking about
how it was weaponized as part of a campaign.
It's part of a campaign, yes.
It is. And here's one of the big reasons why I don't always tell my story.
Right.
I am a survivor of that. I was 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It was a boy that I went to school with in the library of the Catholic school.
Mm.
If I tell people now about this, people who knew me then, they look at me and go, what? Huh?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I was missing for 2 weeks out of school.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't think something was wrong. Oh, we thought you had chickenpox. Okay.
Yeah, it's really hard to explain. Well, that's the thing. I think once on the air at WGN, I talked about being sexually assaulted at a Taste of Chicago in a crowd, and which is another story. But it wasn't until I saw women, like this mailer with my face on it, that I was very honest with people. I was abducted when I was 3 years old, sexually assaulted, tied in a laundry bag, and left in a basement. And those mailers were, that for me, as somebody who was accused of not being able to be there or protect women, like, tell me what Lindsay LaPointe has done to make sure that women and girls are safer in our community. I would like to know specifically. At any rate, yeah, that was
absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
But to use that language to scare people about me as a survivor, it's just like the logic is so twisted and horrible. And you know what they said? So it came from her office. These were not independent expenditures. These were from the office. You know how usually the negative mailers are independent expenditures.
Yeah.
And I talked to the people who they wanted to pay for these, and they were like, "We're not going to do that. We like Patti." So she went ahead and did it herself. 5 rounds. Over 100,000 pieces of paper like that. Yeah.
Well, they re-victimize you is what they do, Patti.
Yes,
they make you feel like damaged goods over and over again. And so you just continue to get re-victimized over and over and over again.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry. Yes. I was a 12-year-old girl that got punched in the face and choked out and raped by a 14-year-old boy. Again, in my school uniform. Again, how is this my fault?
Right.
Right.
Again.
How does this make me less of a person? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Maria.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Maria.
Well, I like to share with you, Ken. Sharing is caring.
Yes.
I want to meet Michelle, though.
Me too, girl. I would love to meet her too.
Maria, I got to run to a break. What else did you want to say?
We
Go ahead.
We gotta go. We're going to a meet and greet.
All right.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Love what you do. Bye.
Good luck, Addison.
Good luck, Addison Township.
Bye.
Again, that's Maria Vesey running for clerk. Bye, and Titus Dare running for Board of Trustees. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, he played professional hockey,
I didn't
and
know
some of
that.
the players that he's coached have gone on to play professional hockey.
Didn't know that. That's why they were not invited to my fake wedding.
I'm just saying.
That is why.
Let's take a quick break here. We'll continue the conversation. I have to go brush my teeth. You didn't need to know that, but that's what's happening.
Let's do it.
In studio, Ken Mejia-Beal, the treasurer for Youth Outlook. Go to youth-outlook.org. We'll be right back in just a second.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
To this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or
and Pete.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
In your communities in Chicago.
On WCPT 820.
Thank you so much for joining us as Ken Mejia-Beal and I continue to drive it home. I want to make sure you guys know how grateful I am for all of our sponsors because, Randy Rhodes was on last night. If you get a chance, Randy Rhodes is fantastic. She's on right after me. It's a syndicated show. She's also on Free Speech TV. But, I don't dwell too much on how scary this time is for people like us.
You can't.
I can't dwell on it, but we are, never for a moment have I ever thought I'm going to stop being critical. I'm going to stop putting myself out there. That never happened.
Never.
But the reason I was in New Orleans when you and Elliot were filling in for me is I also wanted to set my own pace. They don't just determine. I'm not going to react to every single thing. because it's aggressive. You know, the amount, because I work during the day for the state of Illinois.
Yes.
I'm also doing research on not just like what does it mean if we eliminate the Department of Education, because it's catastrophic to a lot of people of color, to individuals with disabilities, people in rural areas. I don't think they realize how much they are supported by not necessarily even federal funding, but the mandates to make sure that your child has access to education no matter where they live or how much that you make.
They don't get it. And then when it's gone, there will be, and I really want to, well, I've decided I'm no longer going to try to be the bigger person because it's not in my DNA anymore.
And we don't need to.
And I'm done. But we're going to go through months of, I didn't even know that, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, maybe if you had picked up a book or, watched a news program outside of Fox, you would have known that this was not good.
Right. And that comes back to like a little bit what we were talking about, how challenging it is in Illinois politics as a Democrat in this, if you're butting up against the machine, is that it is part of the challenge for us, is that we are willing to call each other out for bad behavior.
You have to.
But they don't. They don't. They're lockstep.
Yes.
And that's part of that is part of their victory. I mean, like there is something about being absolutely oblivious to the truth, and you choose to be. And that it is harder to call out BS.
Well, and I always say you're either in a political party or you're in a cult.
That's what it feels like.
The choice is yours. I am in the Democratic Party. Now, with that said, are there issues within the party that I'm willing to acknowledge? Absolutely. Are there sides to it that I'm going to voice my opinion on of things I don't like? Absolutely. But if you're in the same party I am, and you think it is perfect and everything is wonderful and everyone is treated greatly, you and I are not in the same party. You're in a cult.
Yeah.
And I'm not. So don't be mad at me that I didn't drink the Kool-Aid.
I agree.
It's not my fault.
I agree. Someone just sent me a text. Senate Democrats are eyeing a plan to allow a vote on GOP funding bill and avoid a shutdown. They're considering a plan that would pave a way to keep the government funded for 6 months. And someone just texted me that Durbin is one of the voters on this. It is Durbin, Schumer, Peters, Hassan, Schatz, King, Sheehan, Fetterman, Cortez, Mosto, and Gillibrand. We'll see. We'll wait and see. We'll get more information on what that. Let's see. They want to pass a measure to avoid a shutdown. I don't know. Anyway, I don't have more details.
And what
on
are
that
we?
And what are we allowing in those 6 months?
So, not to be that person, but those names you just mentioned.
I mean,
so what are we compromising? Because those are not our biggest fighters.
I mean.
See, this is why I don't get invited to stuff. I just realized why I don't get invited.
You should see.
This is why.
Durbin's wife runs an organization that is supposed to be for like women and okay. This is again why I don't get invited to stuff.
Yeah, we're both on the couch.
But his wife runs it's to train women to run for office, and so.
Oh yes.
So I called them and I was like, so do you train them to weaponize the trauma of rape survivors and homicides? Oh, I wrote it out and I CC'd like Heather Staines and like a bunch of the people that are involved. Just curious. This is what you endorse. Yeah, I don't play.
Yeah, so
that bridge is gone. That's good. No, and I applied, and the woman who talked to me
at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, I applied anyway. I'm like, all right, I'll apply. You guys invited me to apply. You can just keep sending me these emails. And somebody wrote on my application, called to complain about Lindsay LaPointe. Was written on it every single.
How do you know that?
I don't know. Let me take a phone call. I'm just saying. Let's take a phone call from Myrna is on the line. Hey, Myrna, what's on your mind, my friend?
Hello.
Hi, kids. I have a dilemma. I'm a little concerned, and I'm hoping maybe you guys can help me out with this.
Okay.
I feel like it has to do with social media. I kind of feel like I'm being stalked by somebody.
Uh-oh. Who are you being stalked by?
Well, that's just it. It's somebody who's known. I'm not sure if I want to mention the name, but it's like at least every week, once, maybe twice a week, I get a not a friend request, but a suggestion.
Okay.
And I can't figure out how my name and his name came to be together like that. Okay, I'll tell you. His name is Dwayne Kennedy.
Okay.
Why am I getting?
Have you Googled Dwayne Kennedy ever? Because that might be the sort of I don't know. Depends on what other apps you have open. So your phone's hearing the name Dwayne Kennedy and recommending him as a friend. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what's going on, but you just mentioned his name a little while ago, and I'm looking through Facebook, and who pops up? Yeah. Is he stalking me? Does he know like where I live? And is he sitting across the street with binoculars, watching me and stuff?
It's also recommendations.
I don't think he is, but I will say if you get a chance to stalk back, he's hilarious. So go for it.
Do you follow the Patti Vasquez show page?
I don't follow. I do check every so often, but I don't follow.
My page. Give me some more numbers, sister.
Yeah, what's happening?
I don't want to be, those people who are sending you their love notes, your new listeners. I don't want them sending them to me too.
Oh,
so
I see what you're saying. You don't want them to sort of triangulate from if you're following a page and then come bother you. That is completely understandable, and I appreciate that. Although I do want to say, I am starting to now get a mix of. Because I was telling folks how nasty some of the things have gotten in my inbox since we're at 9,000 followers now for the Patti Vasquez show page, 4,000 since we posted an image of it was a cartoon. That's happening. You can hear that too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We're not having a stroke. Because I was like, please, God, let someone else hear that.
But
I'm going home.
What? Is that an emergency alert or anything? No, we're good. Okay, there's engineers back there. So
are we in danger?
Allegedly, it's okay. But I was waking up almost every day with like being called a liberal whore and a slut and the C word. Like one was like a whole rant about stuff. C-word. But the cartoon that set this all off and gained us about it started on the path of gaining 4,000 followers in the last month.
There you go.
It was thank you, and it was Jerry posted a cartoon of a woman wearing a MAGA hoodie, and she says, it's just politics, can't we still be friends? While her friend who has a trans pride flag is being stabbed in the stomach. And it could have been,
I saw that.
And it could have been a pride flag, it could have been a disability symbol, it could have been like any one of the things that you fundamentally voted against for other people to suffer and hurt.
Right.
So anyway, that was where, I mean, like, I don't know what it is about it's just, they're so single-mindedly. I love the feminist, one of the feminist groups that I follow on social media. I shared their, and I'm sure you've seen this meme before, but it is, but now I'm just using it as replies, whether it's in my inbox or in responses. But it's the clitoris has roughly 10,000 nerve endings, and yet it's still not as sensitive as a conservative man in my comment section. So that's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, I mean it's very true.
Which what a funny way to call something.
Very true.
But so my point being, I am starting to get some really nice messages in my inbox. Good. Or like, here's a laugh for you. Let me see. Mary sent something that was important today too. I want to give you. There's a political story out of Naperville. I haven't had a chance to look at this. Notice all those campaign signs popping up around town. It's one way candidates try to get you to notice who is running, and so hopefully encourage you to vote for them. They can be placed on private property with permission, but you'll see signs popping up on public property as well. So anyway, this is a story I haven't had a chance to look at some more, because people do put it on like the places that are not permitted.
People will put those signs anywhere. Like I was driving one day and one was hanging in a tree somewhere, and it's like, who got up there and did that? And yes, I will vote for that person now. Like, why not? It's in a tree.
I love that. Well, I think that it's probably. I think you're safe following Dwayne Kennedy, though, don't you?
You are.
Erna? I think
Dwayne Kennedy's a great guy. He's super funny.
You're also safe to follow me, but I get it. I'm just saying. Yeah.
You're safe to follow.
Is she still there?
All.
Did we lose Myrna? Are we on the air? Are we still broadcasting at anybody here?
Hello?
I don't know what happened. Okay.
Is anyone there?
Okay.
Oh, no.
She's not. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Let's take a break here and see what's happening. I'm going to put some lipstick on. I don't know if that'll make anything better. It's the best I can do right now. More in a moment on WCPT 820, Heartland Signal, and KTNF AM 950, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
You're listening to WCPT 820, because facts matter.
Union Strong Chicago continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine, and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine, and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
In your communities, in Chicago.
On WCPT 820.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home and wrapping it up here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, and in the evenings, KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota. Once again, want to thank all of our sponsors. Source Solar. Go to source.solar for more information on the great work they do. And the interview we did on Monday with Peter and Warren is available at heartlandsignal.com as part of one of my podcasts. And we all have some great podcasts available for you. So go to Heartland Signal. You can check out Joan and Richard's podcast there. Tomorrow on Choose Views, Richard's guests are writer Edwin Rios, Karen Byrne of True Blue Politics. By the way, hi, Karen. And Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski. Love Nikki. She does a great job.
Very nice.
So that's Choose Views.
Very qualified, too.
Absolutely. Tomorrow from 6 to 8 a.m. right here on WCPT. And Joan, tomorrow we'll be taking your calls for the first half of the show, and then talking to Glenn Korn, a 34-year veteran of the U.S. intelligence and foreign affairs communities. I'm sure they've got a lot to talk about. That's tomorrow on Joan's show from 2 to 5 p.m. right here on WCPT. And Ken Mejia-Beal, who's been guest co-hosting with me, thank you so much for joining us.
And I want to do it more often.
Right. You'll be back tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
You're like, shut up, you'll be back tomorrow.
No, I'm not saying shut up.
Be on time.
I do have to remember all of our sponsors. I want to thank our friends at Are You Really Winning? Go to areyoureallywinning.com. And remember that March is Gambling Awareness Month. You can call 1-800-GAMBLER if you or someone you know has a gambling issue. I've been talking to the director. So my father was an addict. He was an alcoholic, and then when he stopped drinking, he had always been a gambler. The horses, we go to see the ponies. And for me as a kid, I got to go, bet
Arlington?
He loved Arlington Heights.
Yeah, my grandfather was a big Arlington person as well.
Oh, yeah. And as a kid.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
Are you hearing the voices?
Now we're good. Okay. We went into a commercial break or something.
Oh, we did? Oh, I don't know what. No one's. Hold on a second. All right,
but we're back.
At any rate, so it's been great to collaborate with Are You Really Winning? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, and we have these great conversations. Before we go, I know you have an event coming up.
Yes, March 20th, Skeleton Key, 90s trivia. But I do want to say, addiction is real, and making that call is the first step. I know it's very hard to own if you really do have an addiction. So just want to throw that out there. It's not easy.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for this great conversation today.
We'll have another one tomorrow.
We will. Do you have one listener asked if we knew about any of the races going on in Plainfield? Do you have any folks that you know of that are running for office there? I don't either. We'll try to find.
I do know someone in Streamwood.
Okay.
Assad Khan is running for Streamwood Village president. So vote for him. He's great, and I think Streamwood is next to Plainfield. Yes.
I'm bad at that.
I'm bad at geography. Listen, I could not pick out Paraguay on a map, and I also thought Nebraska was a state next to Idaho for a period of time until 2 months ago. So let's not ask me about geography.
I'm the same way.
Like I don't know anything.
That's not my skill set.
Yeah.
My son's really good at that stuff. I'm not.
I will get us lost.
But I do know where Tata's is. I have to get to Tata's.
Yes, you have to get to Tata's
in just a little bit. The other thing is, Jerry just messaged me and asked me if I knew about the continuing resolution or the what's it called? The cloture in order to have a 6-month extension of funding the government. But I mean, like, do they not, because they are worried about being blamed for a shutdown, I guess?
Yeah, the names that you mentioned that are associated with this make me nervous.
I'm just saying.
Because they're not our fighters. They're our biggest folders.
Yeah.
Womp womp. I am so not being invited to any of the Democratic events this year. I'm not going to be invited.
You know what's funny? I'll see something that's happening. I'm like, yeah, I don't really miss that.
No, I do like going.
Sure.
If I'm invited.
You look great for Equality, the Equality Illinois
yes,
gala.
and I recently went to the King County Gala. Like, I will go. Yeah. I love putting on a suit. I'm doing the Women Empowerment lunch tomorrow with Speaker Welch. They're honoring Senator Carol Mosley Brown.
Oh, that's great.
I did first because give that woman her flowers while she's still here.
Now. Yep.
So yeah,
first black woman elected to the
Senate.
Yep.
Yes, and before we go, I do want to say something. I have met every single black U.S. senator in this country.
Wow,
which is very sad.
Wow,
like I've met them all.
That is wild.
All of them.
Man,
sad.
I want to hear more about that tomorrow.
We'll talk about it.
I think so.
We'll talk about it.
We have a great show coming up. We actually have more candidates. I think they're going to be in studio with us.
The York Township slate tomorrow.
Yes, we do. So looking forward to that.
So I'm just going to be over there. We'll share a mic. We'll be like Sonny and Cher.
Yeah, how many candidates are coming in?
7.
I don't know.
No, I'm joking. I think it's only 5.
Yeah, Schumer to vote for GOP measure to avert government showdown.
We'll have to read this.
Okay, then. Support for the measures signal the Democrats would let the measure pass to prevent a shutdown. In a lengthy speech, outlined his opposition to the House-passed bill, but went on to say his bigger worry about what failing to fund the government could bring. He warned a government shutdown would give the president and his allies the keys to the city, state, and country. Okay.
According to them.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you again to our sponsors, Monaco Brewing Company. Are you really winning? We also want to thank our friends from Source Solar. Go to source.solar. Thank you, Lady B. Randy Rhodes is up next, followed by Matt McNeil. And don't forget to go to youth-outlook.org to learn more about the great work that Ken and his team do. Do I hit this button in here? You've got it. All right. Bye, everybody. Good night.
Good night.